another episode of the AJ Sports Podcast. I am one half, Anthony El Capitan Carbone, and I'm here with my boy, Justin
Yeah.
Vilche. We both were in Italy for 2 weeks. We are back at work, back at school for me. Man, it's been a while since we've been on this podcast. Man, a lot has happened. We're at the end of September. The NHL season is right around the corner. So, we're going to get right into it. But first, let Justin say what's up to the podcast crew. What's going on, bro?
Right, everything good, bro. Hockey season is starting soon. Obviously, everywhere pumped now. Crazy summer's flown by. We're close. It's fall season, which means hockey season is around the corner. Okay, we are so back. Podcast gonna be uploaded weekly. We repping the boy right now. So
Drake will be
everything.
dropping.
You know, dude, everything's blessed right now. Let's go, man. Let's go.
Everything is blessed indeed, but we've been gone for a little bit, as I just said. We both were in Italy for 2 weeks, close to 2 weeks. Feels good to be back. I wish the food that they had there was over here, but you know, pizza every day, the panino, the espresso, the
Yeah.
gelato. Miss it already, but it's good to be back covering the NHL, and specifically today, what we're going to be discussing the Metropolitan Division in the NHL. We are going to preview each division. Now, I know you may be asking, guys, didn't you already do an NHL season preview? Yeah, we did, but that was before a lot of these
That was
new signings. These new
it's,
signings.
it's, it's,
These new signings happened, and we felt like doing it again because we love talking about the NHL a lot. So we're gonna do we're gonna do a detailed breakdown of every single team in each division, and we're gonna start today with the Metropolitan Division. God damn it!
Can we say the worst division in the league?
I think we are gonna say though it is the worst division in the NHL. Why don't you go ahead and explain to the audience while I fix my stupid fucking light?
Okay, so first of all, since we're talking about hockey in general, let's just say rest in peace to Matthew
Yeah,
Gaudreau.
Matthew and Johnny
And
Gaudreau. Yeah.
Gaudreau, yes. We haven't been able to talk about it because we haven't done a podcast since the tragedy that happened. So our condolences are to the family, to the Gaudreau family, and to everyone that was involved. Um, just hope suspect gets life in prison because what he did was horrible and he should never see another day in this world again. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, you got anything to say or?
Rest in peace to the Gaudreaus, man. When I first saw on Twitter someone like talking about the rumor of that happening, I was like my heart dropped because I'm like, is this for real? Then come to
Yeah.
find out the next morning, I wake up and it turns out to be true that he did. Him and his brother were struck by a drunk driver. It sucks too because it was the day before they were going to be their sister's groomsmen at their wedding. So it was just sad news, man. And the fact that a couple days after the passing, Meredith Gaudreau, Johnny's wife, came out as pregnant, so she was gonna have another kid. But it just sucks, man. It's such a huge loss to the hockey world. Johnny Hockey really revolutionized the game for small players,
Yeah.
including Cole Caulfield, who changed his number to 13 in honor of Johnny Gaudreau. So for smaller guys, you know, coming into the league, they looked up to a guy like Johnny Gaudreau, and yeah,
And players will still continue to look up to him.
yeah,
You know.
it really broke the hockey world, and yeah, it's just a very tough time, and rest in peace. My condolences to the family, and yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. Yeah,
Yeah.
very tough topic here, but
Very. Yeah.
without further
But yeah.
ado, let's
Yeah.
let's head
Let's
into the
move
division predictions. So
Yeah.
the first team that I have for us is the Carolina Hurricanes. So, some notable signings that they've made over this offseason. They extended forward Seth Jarvis, Martin Necas, Jordan Martinook. They acquired defenseman Shane Gostisbehere, Sean Walker, Jack Roslovic on the forward end, and William Carrier. They look like a really solid team, but They did lose guys like Evgeny Kuznetsov, Jake Gensel, Tony DeAngelo, Anthony Ranta, Brady Shea, Stefan Nosen, Brett Pesce, and Teravainen. So as the additions look pretty solid, they did lose a lot of pieces. I'm looking at their daily face-off right now. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to see that, or I'll be able to see that. They have Svechnikov, Aho, Jarvis, Jack Roslovic, Kasperi Kotkaniemi, Martin Necas, Jordan Marknook, Jordan Stahl, William Carey, Brendan Lemieux, Jack Drury, and Tyson Jost. On the forward end, Jacob Slavin, Brett Burns is your first pair. On defense, Dmitry Orlov, Jalen Chatfield as your second pair, and Shane Gostisbehere and Sean Walker as your third pair, with Freddie Anderson looking to cover the net. What do you think of this year's Carolina Hurricanes team? Because I'll give you my take, but I'll let you go first.
I don't. Oh goodness. I think they lost like a couple key pieces, right, in Pesce, and I think Teravainen could be a big loss. And obviously Gensel, they didn't get to re-sign Gensel, which is really unfortunate. But I do think they're still obviously like I don't think they're going to win the cup. I don't think this team is good enough, and they will. I think they will make the playoffs, but I don't know. There's questions around that goaltending. Like me personally, I think Freddie Anderson is going to lose the starters net. I think it's Pyotr Kochekhov's for the taking. I think he's going to take it this season. Freddie Anderson's getting older. He keeps dealing with injuries every year, and I think it's only a matter of time before they get a younger goalie in net. And I think Kochekov could start 50 games this season. I could honestly see that happening. The forward core, I'm still confident in this forward core. Like they got Necas done. He's still in Carolina. The thing is, like that first line is great. Svechnikov, Aho, Jarvis, and then Necas, Roslovic, Kotkaniemi, second line. Okay, whatever. And then I still think they have good depth forward wise. Like they still have Martinook, Stahl, Carey. Carey's a good pickup. Like he was doing things in Vegas, right? And then they have Tyson Jost and Brendan Lemieux, former Ranger, right? So I think the team is good. I don't think the loss of Pesce and DeAngelo really wasn't doing much for them last year anyway. Teravainen, like he was fine. Like he would put up 40 points a season, but it's not like a guy that like the Hurricanes are going to miss desperately, I think, right? So I think they'll still be a top team in the league, like how they have been these past couple of years. And I think with Ron Brindamore still there, I think they'll just be just as fine. I mean, they've still replaced some of the guys anyway that they lost, so I think there won't be any issues in Carolina.
Yeah, so I like what you're saying. However, this team, for me, has taken a huge dip in their offense. Now, losing guys like Stefan Noesen, Teravainen I think are going to hurt them. Like Stefan Noesen scored a couple big goals in the playoffs. Teuvo Teravainen as well is also a very good piece for them. The team just doesn't look as strong as it used to. I don't know what for me it just doesn't look great. Like think about it. Gensel, you had him.
Yeah.
You had Kuznetsov as well. I'm looking here. They also lost Brady Shea. Like Brady Shea was like manning that first power play for a bit too in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So,
but now they have Shane Gostisbehere who could run the first.
They do have Shane Gostisbehere, but to me, this team on paper, it doesn't look like the Carolina Hurricanes teams that we've seen these past two seasons. I think you're going to see a bit of a dip. I don't think they're going to miss playoffs, but I really think that, these guys are not going to be as good. Now, does that mean that they're going to go on a deep run? Who knows, right? But my personal take is that they probably will lose either first or second round this year.
Yeah.
Probably. What's going to happen with, like, Rod Brindamore's job if they don't get, like, to the at least conference finals? Because for how many years we've been talking about how good this Carolina Hurricanes team is, and we expect them to go far in the playoffs, go at least push for a Stanley Cup, and they yet still haven't done that. They went to the conference finals once and got swept. Actually, they got swept twice, to the Boston Bruins in 2019 and then to the Florida Panthers in 2023. So the time is running out for the Carolina Hurricanes. I mean, it's like I said, the team just doesn't look as strong as it used to look, and I think they'll make playoffs, but like this is not a Stanley Cup contender in my eyes.
No, and I don't think it's going to be a Stanley Cup contender either. It's going to just be one of those like playoff teams that make the playoffs, but nobody's really going to expect them to do anything in the playoffs when they make it. I do still like that decor. Like they added Sean Walker, former Av. They added Shane Gostisbehere, who could run the first power play, and he was playing in Detroit last year. They still have Brent Burns. They still have Slavin. They still have Dmitry Orlov and Jalen Chatfield. So I mean, like I'm still very high on that defensive side in Carolina. Just like yeah, I can understand like what you're talking about, like the forward core. Like it's not as potent as we've seen them in the past, but I don't know. Like I think Svechnikov had a down year because Gensel was there. So I think without Gensel now, I think he'll step up and maybe produce maybe 80 points this season. I could see that happening because now it's going to be a lot of Svechnikov Aho instead of like now Gensel being there, Kuznetsov being there. Like it's really going to be Svechnikov and Aho's team now forward wise. So and then obviously Jarvis will be there too. But I think it's going to be more Aho and Svechnikov this year. But I still think they'll make the playoffs. But as like you said, I don't think they'll win the cup.
Yeah. So where do you think you have them in the division? I've got them
Uh,
third,
I think third as well. Yeah,
so they will
I
get
think yeah.
the third Metropolitan spot. Let's move on to the team that beat them out last year, the New York Rangers. Some notable free agency signings. They signed forward Sam Carrick from the Edmonton Oilers, Riley Smith from the Pittsburgh Penguins, Chad Ruhwedel from the Pittsburgh Penguins. They extended Ryan Lindgren, one-year contract, and they also extended Braden Schneider as well. Some notable departures: Blake Wheeler left on free agency, Eric Gustafsson, who was manning that first power play for a little bit. Alex Wenberg went to the San Jose Sharks, and then obviously we just spoke about Jack Roslovic, who went over to the Carolina Hurricanes. The Rangers and Chris Drury really didn't change this roster. Now, their lineup on Daily Faceoff is looking, pretty solid with Panarin, Trocheck, and Lafreniere. Chris Kreider is advantage at Riley Smith, Cooley, Hedel, Kako, VC, Carrick, and Brodzinski. You can also slide Matt Rempe in there. Defense looks the same. Zach Jones looks like he's going to get his minutes. And obviously, Igor Shesterkin is manning the net.
Yeah.
Time for is running out. Time for these guys is running out. These past two seasons, from 2022 up until now, we've expected the Rangers to at least push for a Stanley Cup, and they've fallen short. They lost in the conference final to the eventual Cup winners Tampa Bay in 2022. Lost a really important series against the New Jersey Devils, which, I mean, choking a 2-0 lead when you had both Game 3 and 4 at home. Unbelievable.
Yep. That was bad.
Then last year, they went up 2-1 against the Florida Panthers and then proceeded to lose 3 straight. The time is running out for the Rangers. Shesterkin is going to be playing for a contract. Chris Drury really didn't make that off-season move that we expected. We wanted a guy. I have the hat here. We wanted a guy like Tyler Toffoli to play with Mika Zibanejad and Chris Kreider. We've been talking about this. Riley Smith is not a bad addition. He had an off year in Pittsburgh, but I don't think he solves all your problems. The Rangers, in the playoffs, really, really struggled with their top guys scoring. Florida just shut them down. Barkov and his line really gave it to Zibanejad, Panarin, and Kreider. All three of those guys combined for 1 goal in that series against the Florida Panthers. So, what do you think is going to happen for the Rangers? They just won the President's Trophy, but time's running up for them to win a cup, man.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a complete down year. I don't think it's gonna them not adding that true right winger. I don't think it's gonna hurt them that bad. They added Riley Smith, right, who can't score above 25 plus goals, which is fine. But I think Tyler Toffoli, everyone knows Tyler Toffoli is more of a goal scorer than Riley Smith, as we've seen over these past couple of years. So Toffoli would have been the better ad. But again, we shouldn't really count out Riley Smith anyway, because he scored 26, 27 goals in previous seasons, right? So I think Riley Smith could be a good addition instead of Tyler Toffoli. I don't really see as to why he can't be. This Rangers team didn't really need a lot of changes anyway in the offseason. They made it to the conference final, they were in the Final Four, and I think they believe inside their team, inside the franchise, that we could probably win the cup with this team. Panarin, Trocheck, Lafreniere had a great season last year. People are starting to think, okay, now it's time for him to really kick tires now and to be consistent, right? Then you have Kreider. Yeah, Zibanejad didn't really have a great season last year, and they still made it to the conference final. Remember, Zibanejad was dipping in goal scoring and just simply points, right? So I think as long as Zibanejad starts clicking again this year, and Riley Smith maybe gets you 25 goals, and Lafreniere continues to do his thing, I think, dude, this Rangers team will be just as fine as they were last year, making it to the Final Four. Um, the thing is with Capo Caco, I don't really know as to where they stand. They've been trying to trade this guy for a couple years, and he really hasn't done much. Last year he had 12 goals and 6 assists. It's not looking good for him. I do think they need a little bit more depth in New York. I think that's what they're really struggling with forward wise. I think they do need more depth because I just don't. Capo Caco, like this has just been keep going an ongoing thing. Like they want to trade him. Oh, okay, they can't find a trade partner. Oh, okay, we'll keep him. Oh, okay, we'll try and look for a trade. Oh, okay, we can't find a trade. And it's just like it's just gonna get sour at some point, and then he's just simply just not gonna want to be there. The defense, even Trouba, they tried trading Trouba last year to the Detroit Red Wings. He's still on the team because of that big contract that they gave him. Which I mean,
What was it? $8 million? I think it's $8 million for
yeah, it was
4
like
years.
it was like eight. No, wasn't it 8 years, 8 mil or something when he signed?
I know he signed $8 million, but I don't know what the term was.
It was okay, but yeah. So yeah, and then they still have Lindgren and still have Fox, who's going to be a Norris candidate, and Andre Miller is going to do his thing, right? So this team, I still got faith that they can go extra. They could probably even go to the Cup final this year. I don't see as a reason why. They have a Vesna candidate in Shesterkin. They have an MVP candidate in Panarin, right? So as long as Zibanejad can just be his old self, score 35 plus goals, have 80, 85 plus points, then dude, the Rangers will be fine. Zibanejad will be an X factor, and Lafreniere will be an X factor. If those two guys do not play well this season, then I think they will have a dip this season. But if Lafreniere can play like his old self last year, and Zibanejad can play like himself from 2 years ago, then I think they'll be just as fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Rangers, this regular season, I think they're probably like one of, if not the best team in the Metro Division because of how weak the
Yeah.
other teams look. The team doesn't look that like it looks pretty similar, but it's not going to be like how hard it is to repeat winning the President's Trophy. There's no way these guys do it again, especially with some of the losses that they had, like depth wise, like we talked about with guys like Alex Wenberg and even excuse me, let me flip over to my notes. Jack Roslovic, Blake Wheeler, Eric Gustafson on the blue line too. I think that's gonna. I feel like depth, is, like you said earlier, is going to punish them a little bit. That third and fourth line doesn't look as strong as I would like it to look for the Rangers. But say no more. I think they still will make playoffs. I think they're gonna go second in the division. Regular season shouldn't be an issue for these guys. However, I'm more concerned for the playoffs. But we know what we're going to get from Shesterkin. He's playing for a contract, by the way. Let's not forget that. He wants to be the highest paid goalie in this motherfucker. So I already know that he's going to light up this league and probably, maybe, potentially could win the Vezina for the second time in his career.
Yeah, possibly. I just think the only issue with them is depth wise for like on the third and fourth line.
But
Other than
they
that,
can
though,
always address it at the deadline too if it's like an issue.
yeah, like it's not obviously not a major concern now. Like you still have preseason, right? Maybe guys will impress in preseason, some rookies, right, who can maybe slot into that third or fourth line, right? So I have them second as well. I think they will come second and play the Carolina Hurricanes in the first round. But yeah, like I think they'll be fine. And plus, dude, they're always great at home. Like anytime a team goes to MSG, like it just looks like they just don't want to play there. Like MSG is just like a raucous building, especially during the regular season. So it's like if they could just like stay in their home form, and like win like 30 out of the 41 games at home, which like they'll be fine. Like it's like second place.
Let's move on to their neighbors, the New York Islanders, the other New York team. These guys snooze fest every single year. Nobody gives a shit about the New York Islanders, just like myself and probably like Justin as well. These guys, man.
Bro, we're not spending more than 2 minutes, bro. These guys, I don't care if
I'm
you
gonna give each team at least a fair breakdown. Let's go through it. The notable signings that they made, they signed Anthony Duclair, which is probably their biggest ad, I would say. They signed Liam Foudy as well. They signed Mike Riley to a professional tryout. They signed Matt Martin to a professional tryout. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was going to play for them, but who knew about his age? Departures, the other Sebastian Aho, the defenseman Sebastian Aho, he went to the Penguins. Robert Bertuzzo as well has left. And a guy who I thought they were really going to offer a PTO, Cal Clutterbuck, did not receive an offer from the Lou Armorello New York Islanders. So, what do we think? They barely made any additions. You know, they added some depth guys. They did lose a couple older defensemen. They did lose Cal Clutterbuck. But what do we think from the New York Islanders? And yeah, what do you think? I was gonna say something, but I don't know. Not really much.
What do I think of the Islanders? I'm not scared. I don't think any team should be worried about playing the New York Islanders at all throughout the season. They really only added Duclair. That was like their main guy that they added. Which, okay, granted, they needed to add a left winger because their left wing depth is Holstrom, Lee, and Maxim Siplikov. So yeah, don't even know who that is. So yeah, Duclair on the first line. That's a good ad. But I mean, like Holmstrom on your second line left wing, like
it
really?
doesn't, dude. It doesn't look intimidating at
Like
all if you're
yeah,
a team in the Metro.
like Cal Palmieri, isn't he like 36 playing on your second right wing? Like, are we being for real? Like Pierre Engvall? Like really? Yeah, I mean the only bright spot really is Noah Dobson. I mean their defense is a bright spot. Like we'll give him that. Like Noah Dobson, who could be a Norris candidate down the road. You got Pulik, Romanov, who's still young. And then you also have Bo Horvat and Barzal, who maybe can replicate a season from last year, right? Because last year he had a great season after a couple years being a little bit on the decline. And then obviously you have Sorokin, who was not great last year. I don't really know as to why. What was happening with Sorokin? Maybe just a little off here.
No, apparently, I think he was dealing with some back issue throughout the year, from
Oh,
what I've heard.
well,
Now, I remember, I think it was Elliot Friedman saying that he had to get some kind of, I don't know if it was surgery or something, but his back was bothering him a couple weeks ago, I heard. But also, I think we're going to see a full season under Patrick Waugh now as well. It really could impact the team. I know they had Lane Lambert for a majority of the season, but having Patrick Waugh coming in and having him for a full season could really like elevate the team a little bit. I'm not so sure as if this will help them make playoffs, considering like the other teams that were like we mentioned, like the Rangers and the Hurricanes, and another team that we think is going to jump really high from where they finished last year. It's going to be tough, especially with the Atlantic Division too. Like teams like Tampa Bay, Detroit, maybe Buffalo, Ottawa, sniffing around for that last wild card spot. I mean, for the New York Islanders, it's going to be really tough, especially because they play such a defensive hockey style. And
yeah,
what really needs to click for these guys is their penalty kill. Their penalty kill was like the worst in the league. It was the worst. It was so bad. It was so bad. I don't know what happened, and they also gave up. I don't know how many leads. I don't know how many leads they gave up, especially in the third period with 5 minutes left to go. These guys always found a way to lose. And I remember listening to Spit and Chicklets. Shout out to them. They brought in their guy Frankie Borelli, who covers the Islanders and is a big Islanders fan. And he said, I forget the stat, but it was something around like 20 games they could have won, and they could have won the Metro Division if they didn't blow with 5 minutes left to go in the third period lead. It's unbelievable that the New York Islanders are, still like I can't with these guys. It just doesn't make any sense.
yeah.
The fact that they
No,
could have won 20 games and maybe even won the Metro if they didn't blow like like one goal leads in the with 5 minutes left. You couldn't hold that. For success for the Islanders, you really need Patrick Waugh's like mentality and the way his coaching to work on these guys. You also need a new penalty killing coach, which I'm pretty sure they're going to address. That power play needs to click. I mean, you got guys like Barzell, you got Horvat, you got Dobson. I'm pretty sure you're going to throw Duclair on there. So they got some decent weapons on there.
yeah.
So special teams are going to be important, and I think a full season under Patrick Waugh is really going to help them. I don't necessarily think they're going to make playoffs. Actually, matter of fact, I think I'm just going to go out and say I think they're going to miss completely, and they're going to go sixth because I think there's I think there's a couple other teams that are going to be better than these guys. But it's tough when you don't make a lot of the right additions. to your team.
Yeah.
Your team's getting older, especially on that blue line with Pelech and Pollock. And who knows, man? Who knows how Sorokin will be? Last season was a really, tough down year for him, and if he continues on that path, man, they're really screwed. Because I don't know if Varlamov's really going to be their guy to carry them to the promised land.
Varlamov is also getting older. Yeah, what they desperately need is offense. Like last year, for the past couple of years, like they really haven't scored many goals. I think last year was a little bit better. Like they were scoring at a higher rate. But again, this team offensively like doesn't really scare you. Like it's like Palmieri and Holmstrom as your second line with Brock Nelson. Like, are we being for real? Like, okay, the first line, fine. Duclair, Horvat, Barzal, sure. But other than that, like, you're not really worried. Like, you're not a team that like you're going to play and it's like, oh no, like we got to play the Islanders tonight. Like, who cares? They're gonna be fifth in the Metro, like, and they're gonna miss the playoffs. Like, simple as that.
Yeah, I think that's enough said and done about the stinky Islanders. Let's move on to this team, a very interesting team, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins. Our producer, Anthony Minicello's favorite team. Unfortunately, we couldn't bring him on for this preview, as he just finished school like 25 minutes ago, which is whack. As we're filming this at 7:55, he just finished school like 25 minutes ago at 7:30. So really tough. But we're still gonna talk about his team. I'm not gonna shit on his team. I'm not going to do that, but we're gonna talk about them. So let's look at the additions that they've made. They signed Matt Grzelcyk from the Bruins as a free agent. They signed Anthony Beauvillier. They traded for Cody Glass from the Predators. They signed Rucker McGroarty from a trade that they did with the Sharks. They also got Kevin Hayes too.
Wasn't he part of the Jets?
Pardon me?
Rucker? Wasn't he part of the Jets?
Oh, it was the Jets deal for the what's his name? I forget who went out the other side, but he was part of the rookie for rookie deal. And I've heard a lot of good things about Rucker McGroarty. This guy apparently is a really good player. So Pens fans, I mean, you guys should be really happy with that prospect. Jeff Carter and Pierre Oliver Joseph leaving the squad. I'm looking now at their daily face-off. It's not bad.
I got it up too.
Yeah. So Anthony Beauvillier. Well, hold on. We gotta talk about Sid the Kid for a second. We gotta talk about how much of a beauty Sidney Crosby is. He signed an $8.7 million contract for 2 seasons, 2-year extension with the Penguins. Will probably finish his career as a Penguin. And as soon as he signed that contract, he was delivering fans their season tickets. What a guy! He's always been paid less than he was worth because he's just a great guy, and he
wanted 2 cups, bro.
He is a true captain, one of the best to ever do it. Literally said in an interview that he only cares about winning. He's already made his money, and now signing an $8.7 million contract, which is what Patrick Laine is currently getting paid, by the way. So, which is nuts to think about. But yeah, Sidney Crosby, what a guy. Re-signs with the Penguins. Probably going to be a lifelong Penguin. For me, second best all time behind Gretzky. That's just my personal opinion. And yeah, you love to see Sid the Kid continuing his game. But speaking of him, last season he was over a point per game. He had 93 points, I want to say, and in the previous year 94. It was like 93, 94. So he's over a point per game. We obviously know with his age, his production is going to decrease a little bit, but the fact that he's still putting up over a point per game, especially like when you have like better teams in the Metro now, like the Hurricanes and the Devils and the Rangers, and it's just tough, man. But yeah, he's been doing really well. Like I said, I'm looking at the lineup here. It's not too bad. We have Beauvillier, Crosby, Russ, Michael Bunting, Malkin, Rickard Rakell as your top 6. It's not bad. I really like the bottom 6. Yeah.
Like they have like underrated goal scorers. Like the more I look at this Penguins team, like I might put the Islanders in 6 and put the Penguins at 5.
That's what I'm
because
thinking.
This Penguins team, like they have Bunting who could score 20+ goals. Remember, he was scoring goals like crazy when he was with the Coyotes. Then he went to Toronto, he was banging in goals there. And then even last year when he went to Pittsburgh in a trade, dude, he was scoring goals there too. Brian Rust, X factor for this Penguins team. If he can stay healthy, he will guarantee you 25+ goals. I'm calling that right now. But he's got to stay healthy, though. He has to stay healthy because he's been dealing with injuries. And when he deals with injuries, it's not looking good for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's got to stay healthy. X factor. Beauvillier, I mean, it's a decent signing, like whatever. Kevin Hayes, who's still serviceable, who could still score goals. By the way, he was scoring goals last year with the St. Louis Blues. Evgeny Malkin, remember last year's Evgeny Malkin, bro. First half of the season, he was going off, bro. Evgeny Malkin was on a hot heater,
And
right?
then
And then he again, right? And then whatever. And then they still have Ricardo Raquel, who could score goals, right?
but
You have Lars Eller.
Ricardo Raquel, I'll tell you something about Ricardo Raquel. He really needs to have a bounce back year because last year was
He
terrible.
does. Last year was not good. Then they also have Noel Chari. They got Blake Lizotte, Drew O'Connor. They still have EK65. You already know, right? They still got EK. And then they still have Chris Letang. They signed Matt Grzelcyk, who's a good defensive defenseman. I actually like that signing a lot because they have EK, who, again, like he's more of an offensive guy now. So you could put Grzelcyk with him so that Grzelcyk can do the more defensive role. Then you have Ryan Graves, who used to play for the Devils, so he's somewhat decent. And then you also have Marcus Pedersen and then Sebastian Aho. Two things with this Penguins team: power play. Power play has to click. Two things that they need. No, three things that they need this season.
You
They
read
need
my mind, bro. You read my mind. That power play.
They need Brian Rust to stay healthy. Okay, they need that power play to click. They were one of the worst power play teams last year, and it was actually awful because they didn't score a power play in like 23 straight games. And how is that possible with all that talent on the power play? Okay, and number three, goaltending. Tristan Jarry needs to have a good season, okay, or else he's gonna lose his job. Okay, now Delkovich took over the net with like 10 games to go last year, right? And he started like 8 of the last 10 when they were trying to fight for a playoff spot. Tristan Jarry now, okay? If he's not going to do his job, it's in Delkovich's net, okay? Now, those are the three things that the Penguins need in order to make the playoffs, okay? They need those three things. A healthy Rust, a power play, and competent goaltending, okay? Because Nedeljkovic will not give you 60 games, okay? You need at least a 40-40 split, okay, between Jarry and Nedeljkovic. If Jarry is going to give up 4 goals a game, right, is going to be all up to Nedeljkovic, and Jarry is going to be I don't even know where he's going to be, bro. So I have faith. I do have faith in the Penguins. I do think they will potentially make a wild card spot, but they need those three things to work in order for them to make the playoffs.
Yeah, you pretty much nailed every point like, dead on. Yeah, let's first talk about, I'm going to talk about this power play. Now, that power play was atrocious. You got, let's break this down. You have Sidney Crosby, top 5 all time, top 3 all time. Okay. You have Evgeny Malkin, another, his right hand man. For a majority of the season, you had Gensel as well. You had EK65, and I'm pretty sure Letang was on that first power play too, if I'm mistaken. I think they put both of them on there, and I think that is where it fucked them up. I think having two defense on that power play really fucked them up.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't score a goal to save their life. It was so bad that I'm pretty sure they went 49 or 50 power plays without scoring a goal. You know how nuts that is? You know how fucking crazy that is? The fact that they went like close to, if I'm pretty sure it was like close to 50, if not more, power plays without a single goal. With all that talent and you didn't score a goal. Think about if that power play was clicking, they probably would have made playoffs. Number one. With that team, I'm pretty sure Brian Russ said it on a podcast. They thought they would have beaten the Rangers if they got in, which you could have happened. Could have happened. And we wouldn't even be talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins missing playoffs for the second year in a row, and which this year could be the third. We wouldn't be talking about that. But they fired their power play coach. They got a new guy in there to reset that power play. So, yeah, what needs to happen is their power play needs to be consistent and click. They need to have at least a 30% power play percentage, like at least.
Yeah.
Right. It's
something.
It's got to be something, man. It's got to be way better than last year. They were bottom of the league. They were tied with like the Habs or something for like most power play goals all year. It was something like how Montreal's at a rebuilding stage. Penguins are trying to make playoffs. This can't be happening. I assume that they are going to split and go away with not having Chris Letang and EK65 on the same power play. I think having two defensemen really fucked it up. Now, is this going to mean Chris Letang's going to be upset? Who knows? Who cares? I think EK65 should be that quarterback on that power play, considering 2 seasons ago he was the Norris winner on the Sharks, mind you. On the Sharks. He had 100 points on the Sharks. The San Jose Sharks. It's fucking crazy. You obviously will have Sidney Crosby. You're going to have Malkin. So those three are locks. I think you throw Michael Bunting in front of the net. That's 4.
Yeah.
And then Russ.
Yep.
And then you even out your first unit. And another thing that you've mentioned as well is goaltending. Tristan Jarry lost that net like pretty convincingly. Nedeljkovic was carrying the Penguins for like a long time. I remember he started back to back. I think he started in
like the Saturday Sunday or something.
Yeah, the Saturday Sunday. And I'm pretty sure I had Jarry or something, and I'm like, wait, why isn't Jarry starting like one of these games? And they threw Nedeljkovic in for fantasy, and I'm like, dude, the fact that this is the case and they're really relying on the backup goalie to try and get them into the playoffs is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So,
bad.
like you said, goaltending needs to be on point. Tristan Jarry needs to go back to what he was before. And you said 40-40. Tristan Jarry should be playing at least 55 to 60 of those games. He should be their guy. Yes, man. Tristan Jarry.
Dude, that's Georgiev numbers from last year.
Dude, I'm telling you, Tristan Jarry has to be their guy. He has to be their guy. Dude, especially if we're gonna hold on. Especially if we're gonna keep talking about a goalie for Team Canada in this best on best. Tristan Jarry needs to at least play like I said, over 50 games. He needs to be that.
Oh my!
Hold on. He needs to be the starter. Shesterkin is going to play 655 games, bro, this season. He needs to get up to that level because at some point he was getting there. People were talking about him in the Vezina conversation. He needs to play more games. You cannot be losing the net to your backup. So what does Pittsburgh need? Like you said, a good power play and goaltending. And Brian Russ being healthy because Brian Russ is a gamer. As much as I cannot stand when he plays the Habs, he's a gamer. So
he scores.
Where do I think the Penguins will finish? I think they miss playoffs again. I like their rival, the Washington Capitals, a lot more this year. We're going to go into them pretty soon. I think that they will go 5th in the Metropolitan Division. And Crosby will miss his 3rd straight postseason. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. What do you think?
Yeah. No. I think we have it nailed on so far. Both we have everything identical. Rangers, Hurricanes, Penguins, and Islanders. 2, 3, 5, 6 right now. So yeah.
Let's move on to their Pennsylvania rival, the Philadelphia Flyers. I mean, let's get into it. So, really big news coming out of their number 1 prospect, Mikhail Michkov. I don't know if I said his first name right. He is going to be playing for the Flyers this year. How exciting is that? He put up 30-something goals in the KHL last season. They signed Denis Gurianov as well. They re-signed Travis Konechny. They re-signed Bobby Brink. They signed Tippett in the regular season as well. They've got their guys. They did lose Victor Mete, Mark Stahl, and Eric Johnson on the back end. But
okay, that's not that big of a deal. Okay, come on.
Michkov is going to be something else. From what Flyers fans are seeing, from what a lot of you guys are hyping. This man in John Tortorella's rookie camp threw a Michigan, which, I mean, if you really want to get yourself, not in the lineup, you go ahead and do that.
He does not like Michigans. He does not like Michigan.
In John Tortorella's hockey, he does not like Michigans. He said it on air that it's ruining the game. You can literally go look at that clip on him on NHL TNT. He literally said he does not like it. And what does Michkov do in his first day? Tries to go for a fucking Michigan. Obviously, he didn't fucking score because it's one of the hardest goals to come with. And he's going to be a bright spot for that team. They really surprised a lot of people last year. I mean, their team looks pretty much the same. They got Tyson Forrester, Sean Couturier, Travis Konechny, Owen Tippett, Morgan Frost, and they've got Michkov playing in that top 6. Joel Kirby, Scott Lawton, Bobby Brink, Noah Cates, Ryan Pilling, and Garnet Hathaway. Their defense, Cam York, Travis Sanheim, Nick Seeler, Jamie Drysdale, who could hopefully have a better year. Yegor Zamula and Rasmus Ristolainen, with Samuel Harrison taking over the net, and Ivan Fedotov being the backup once again. After coming all the way from Russia in the middle of war, apparently, which is what we saw last year in February. So, what do we think about the Philly Flyers, man? They
Bro,
three,
they're dead last, bro. They're
yeah.
dead last. They're dead last. I got to tell you straight up, bro. These guys are dead last. I know they added Dry Zone, they added Michkov, and they added Fedotov, right? But again, goaltending, I don't trust Urson, and we don't know how Fedotov's going to do in the NHL. NHL, KHL, completely different things. Center depth, huge issue. Goodness gracious. Sean Couturier is like how old? Like 33, and he's your first line center? Are we actually being for real? You got Morgan Frost and Scott Lawton? Like, bro. Like, are we actually being serious, bro? Like, that's your center depth? Okay, first of all, center depth is absolutely atrocious. Okay, I do like the wingers. I do like Konechny. I do like Tippett. You know, Mitch Kopp could do some. Joel Farabee had like 20 goals.
Too. I like Forrester.
Yeah, Forrester too. So I do think they have not great, but they do have good winger depth. You know, so I do like that. They do also have Garnet Hathaway, who came from the Capitals, right? Even the defense, like they got Cam York, they got Sanheim, Drysdale, but I just think that there's seven other better teams than them in that division.
You're saying the rest of the division, basically.
Yeah, like the rest of the division are just better than the Flyers. We don't know what this goaltending is going to be, and their center depth is absolutely atrocious. And I'm gonna be honest, that left side of the D pairings are not good. Like Cam York, Nick Sealer, and Igor Zamula. Like, are we actually being serious, bro? Like, okay, the right side, Sanheim, Drysdale, Ristolainen, sure. But bro, left D, huge issue. Goaltending, I could see being an issue, and centerman, that's a huge gap in their team. So, because bro, if you don't have good centers, bro, you're gonna struggle. Like, come on, like let's just be for real, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Center depth is probably like one of the most important parts of the team, if not the most important.
Oh.
You need to have a guy who can play 200 for a game. Now, Sean Couturier, let's talk about him for a sec. Couple times in the regular season last year, he was a healthy scratch. Let's not forget.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
John
He's gonna be the
healthy scratched him a couple times. I remember we reported on the first Leafs game that they played against each other that he was going to be a healthy scratch. Yeah, the Flyers, man. The only I like Tippett, I like Forrester, I like those guys. I like Bobby Brink. However, I think last year was a bit of a fluke. I really don't think that they're as good as they were last year. Like really.
No.
If you look towards the end of the season, is literally where they lost steam. The most important part, by the way, of the season, where they were pushing for the playoffs, because let's not forget, they had a pretty decent lead for that third Metro spot. And the load on Urson really got to him when Carter Hart had to go for whatever.
Well, that whole issue.
That really, you could tell a guy like Arison could not handle that pressure, and it got to him where he was playing too much hockey, and that's where they ended up folding and not making playoffs. Yeah, man, you hit it nail on the head. I don't think that they're going to be that great this year. We already saw how Urson cannot handle being that number one goalie, especially for a full season where, you're trying to compete for playoffs. I think this year is going to be the Mitch Kopp show in Philly. I think they're really going to try and get him going. Guys like Tippett and Konechny are going to, play the same. But I think, like you said, the lack of center depth, especially the left side on defense as well, what we were talking about, doesn't look great. And the goaltending is pretty ferocious, if I may say. So I don't know if they'll be last, but I mean they're going to be one of the bottom two. So I think they're definitely going to miss playoffs.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Michkov over under 25 goals. What do you think?
Michkov over under 25.5. We'll do. Say under.
Under? I think he gets like 23.
Yeah. I don't see him hitting 25.
I don't see him hitting over 25 on this Flyers team. No way. No way.
It's not good. Like, bro, it's just not good.
It's not great.
Yeah, it's.
Let's move on from that team. I'd say the Columbus Blue Jackets. We'll talk about them now.
Let's talk about the Blue Jackets. Let's talk about the Jackets.
Let's see. Notable additions. James Van Riemsdyk recently signed with the team. Sean Monahan signed with the team. Jordan Harris acquired via trade. Okay. Jack Johnson, also part of the team. Marchenko with the extension as well. That's really important. And then some notable departures. We discussed Goudreau earlier. Alexander Texier, he was dealt with in a trade, I believe. And Patrick
Yep.
Laine, the really big, guy here, he was traded to the Montreal Canadiens and a pick for Jordan Harris. Yeah, what do we think of Columbus? I'll give you a quick breakdown. Pascal Vincent going to be with the coach for the second season. We already saw he wasn't a good coach last year because there was a lot of crap going on in the dressing room. Merzlikins, I mean, man, we've been talking about this dude, I don't know, for how many years, man. Nothing has worked. It has not worked with this guy. It sucks to say. He's a great guy. He has his little Elvis celly because they call him because his name's Elvis. He does a little celly with his Yeah, I mean, he's not really going to be hitting that celebration much this year. This team is just
No.
it's not good. I mean, if I look at the daily face-off, they got Boone Jenner, Sean Monahan, and Marchenko. They've got James Van Riemsdyk, Adam Vantelli, and Yegor Chinikov. They've got some guys like Cole Sillinger in here and
Kent Johnson.
Some bright spots there. The defense, I mean, Zach Werenski, Damon Severson, Ivan Provorov, Jordan Harris, David Jiricek, and Eric Branson. And then, obviously, I mean, they have Daniil Tarasov apparently as the starting goalie on daily faceoff. So did Merzlikins already lose his net? And the season hasn't even started yet? That's pretty wild to me. So, what do we think of the Columbus Blue Jackets? I mean, like I said, I think they're going to be eighth. Honestly, I think I can give the Flyers the advantage. Yeah.
Oh goodness. No, I think with the whole Gaudreau thing, I think they're just it's gonna be one of those seasons that where like maybe there's gonna just be like a full of heart and maybe they'll how stories, teams go when they lose a player, like they go on this like little magical run, maybe playoffs. But I don't know. I have them seventh. I really wanted to put them ahead of the Islanders, but I think Islanders are Patrick Roy, and I think they just have better defense and better goaltending. So no, I'll put them seventh. I think they just got too many rookies on this team. Marchenko, Fantilli, Chinikov, Kent Johnson, Cole Sillinger, they're all still rookies. Voronkov is also still a rookie. Jiricek, Jordan Harris, like these guys are all still young. They still gotta, they're still all like a young squad. They still have Boone Jenner and Monahan and Van Riemsdyk. They got goal scorers as well. Like Marchenko can score. He had again like 20 plus goals last year. You still have Fantilli, who probably throughout a full season could probably give you 20 plus goals. Boone Jenner as well, if he stays healthy, can score 20, 25 goals. I do really like Zach Werenski. Like he's their number one D-man. And when he's healthy, he's a great D-man in this league. He just has to stay healthy.
Yeah.
I like Provorov as well. I just think the goaltending is an issue. I think defensively, on this defense, it's not great defensively. Like they're good offensively, like on the defensive side, like Werenski and Provorov.
Hold on.
But
that's also if Werenski could stay healthy. I swear, every season for like the past like 2 seasons, unlucky as shit, by the way. But this guy has always had in like October, November. This guy's always had like a season-ending injury, like where his ankle or whatever.
He cooks when he's healthy, bro. He cooks.
He's gross,
bro. Our big demon, like, bro, he's slinging passes, right? Like Werenski's him when he's healthy, but like, bro, remember when the Columbus Blue Jackets were good and it was him and Seth Jones, bro? Werenski was like doing whatever he wanted, bro. Like,
I know
Werenski's gross. Like, I rate Werenski highly. He just has to stay healthy. But yeah, I just think a 7th place finish. There's just a ton of rookies on the squad. I don't really see much happening in Columbus this year. I'm sorry. Like, even the goaltending, like, Tarasov and Merzlikins, like, oh god, please
great.
No. No, it's just a 7th. Like, it's gonna, 7th. There's nothing really much to say.
Yeah, missing playoffs for sure. I think probably the best, best choice. I mean, I want to see more from Kent Johnson, Adam Fantelli. I want to see their game grow, Marchenko, guys like that. But yeah, it's just going to be another rebuilding year. Hopefully they get another high draft pick, in the next draft. I just think they are not going to make playoffs, same as the Flyers. Moving on to a very interesting squad, the Washington Capitals. These guys, okay.
Oh yeah.
Last year, the intense wildcard race comes down to like the final game. Flyers pull their goalie even strength, by the way, and the Capitals clinch a playoff spot, the final playoff spot, and they get absolutely dominated by the New York Rangers in round 1. Obi held up 0 points. like? Wow. Okay, let's break it down. Washington Capitals. What did we expect? What did we expect from them this year? Well, Ovi is, I don't know if you know, on a goal chase for Wayne Gretzky's record. He is at 850.
I don't know, but he's like 40 goals away.
He's like 40
Something
something
like
goals away. Okay. I'm pretty sure that this is the rest of the capital of Ovi's tenure out as a Washington Capital is going to be trying to get him to break that record, and they certainly added the pieces to help do so. They added Jacob Chikrin on the back end, Matt Raw on the back end, Andrew Mangiapane up front, Taylor Radish, guy from Chicago, young player, and one of the most controversial motherfuckers in the National Hockey League, former third overall pick Pierre-Luc Dubois. This guy hates every single team that he plays for. We saw that with the Blue Jackets, the Jets, Kings, and now he's on the Washington Capitals. More than likely playing second line, if not Dylan Strome plays first. Yeah, I'm looking here. It says they got Dubois second line. They also did sign Logan Thompson to back up. I'm assuming he'll back up Charlie Lindgren. If not, they will split. But yeah, the Capitals, I'm pretty sure they're only going to try and make playoffs because Ovi needs to score as many goals as possible before he retires. He wants to break that record, and I'm pretty sure the goal for this team is to just try and get him to break that record. The roster, the full roster looks pretty decent. Mangiapane, Dylan Strome, Alex Ovechkin, line one. Connor McMichael, whose game has really stepped up from last season. Pierre-Luc Dubois, Tom Wilson. Sonny Milano, Hendrik Lapierre, Alexia Portois.
Ali Axe Protoss.
Okay. And then that fourth line, which honestly should be their third line, Brandon Duhaime, Nick Dowd, and Taylor Radish.
Taylor Radish? That's not bad, man.
Not bad. But where I like the defense. Let's look at the defense. Jacob Chikrin, John Carlson, Rasmus Sandin, Matt Raw, Martin Ferravari, Trevor Van Riemsdyk, and then, as I said, Charlie Lindgren and Logan Thompson. Now, I know you guys didn't say, we were wondering how come we didn't say TJ Oshie. We just found out that he's been placed on LTIR for the foreseeable future. It doesn't look like he's going to play, which sucks because he's a very important piece for the Washington Capitals, especially if they want to make playoffs. This team is better than the team that went into the playoffs last year with the additions. They did lose Nick Jensen in that Jacob Chikrin deal, but, that right side is still pretty good with John Carlson, Matt Roth, and Trevor Van Riemsdyk. Do the Washington Capitals make playoffs? What do you think of this team?
I actually really like this team. I think they make the playoffs. I think they'll be a wild card. I have them fourth in the Metro. I don't know. This team kind of has like a little bit of everything. Like they have veterans. Like they have Ovi. They have Tom Wilson. Right, they have John Carlson. You have a little bit of physicality in there with Pierre-Luc Dubois and Tom Wilson, and Ovechkin can get physical too. And then you also have like your somewhat rookies like Connor McMichael's there, Lapierre's there, Protoss is there. Then also Rasmus Sandin sort of, and then you also have that decor. Like you have Chikrin who can run first power play.
It's a good decor.
It's a good decor. You have Chikrin who can play defense and can run the first power play. You have Carlson who could do the exact same thing. And if let's say Carlson is not working on the first power play, boom, you can just add Chikrin in there, like no problem. You have Marois, who's more of a defensive guy on that defensive core. Sandin, who's more offensive, but and then you have Ferravari and Trevor Van Riemsdyk. And then you have Logan Thompson and Charlie Lindgren, who can split 1A, 1B, which is perfectly okay. And then let's say a goaltender goes down, bro, you could just run with Charlie Lindgren because remember, Lindgren last year was going off, where the man was playing like every game because Kemper was trapped.
He stole Kemper's net.
And then let's say if Lindgren goes down, but you got Logan Thompson who can play 50, 60 games anyway. So, bro, this Capitals team has everything. Like, they have physicality, they have goal scoring, they got veterans, they got goaltending, they got defense, they got, this team's kind of nice. I'm not even gonna lie, this team's kind of nice.
So you think they make playoffs, right? Man. I'm gonna say it now.
You know what? No, hold on. They're coming third of the Metro.
Really?
He's dropped to wild card spot, bro. Dude, this Washington Capitals team is gross. It's gross.
Third. Interesting.
Mark it. But what's the date? September 23rd. Rangers, Capitals, Rangers. It's gonna go Rangers, Capitals 2-3, Hurricanes 4. Watch.
Okay,
Apple team.
interesting. Very interesting. I've got all five. I've got all two wild cards going in the Atlantic. So for that reason, I'm gonna say the Washington Capitals miss out on this year
Bro.
because there's teams in the Atlantic, which we will get to, that I
Huh?
like more.
Eventually.
However, they're gonna be right there. They're gonna be sniffing. They're gonna be right there, maybe one or 2 points out. But man, it all comes down to Pierre-Luc Dubois. It really does. It is his final opportunity to finally pick a team that he wants to play for. Because I'm so sick of his bullshit that he's been going on for all these years. No. I'm sick of this motherfucker. Columbus, man, doesn't want to try on a shift and he gets pressed by Tortorella. Oh, I want to leave. Okay, there you go. You get traded to the Winnipeg Jets for Patrick Laine. You go there. You fuck it all up. Okay, whatever. Then you get traded to the LA Kings. The Winnipeg Jets become better after you leave. Okay, they become better. And then you're over here struggling with the Kings not being able to score over, 50 points.
Yeah.
As a former third overall pick, by the way. So it really comes down to Pierre-Luc Dubois on this team. Really, because I think he needs to be an X factor. I like the addition of Mangiapane, like I said. Taylor Radish, I like that. However, man, there's just a couple other teams in the East I like better than these guys. They're going to be sniffing for that wild card spot. They'll come fourth. I mean, if my fifth team in the Atlantic doesn't get it, these guys will get the wild card spot. But I just don't think they'll make it. I mean, they got lucky last year. I think this is just going to be more for getting Ovi his
Goal scoring record.
Goal scoring record, yeah. I think they'll miss playoffs not by much, and if they, I'll say it's 50-50. Like depending on how the Red Wings do in the Atlantic. It'll be between those two for the final wild card spot for me.
You think so?
For me personally. So I'll say fourth in the Metro. Could contend for the wild card spot. I just think they'll be just a little short. And finally, this team right here, who finished 7th in the Metro last year. 7th.
Yeah.
Fired Lindy Ruff. They brought in Sheldon Keefe. They are the New Jersey Devils. Now, I want to talk about this fucking team right here. Because out of every single team in the NHL, I think this is the team that has improved a lot the most out of every single team. Let's look at the additions. All right. They add, finally, a good goalie in Jacob Markstrom, going with Jake Allen as a tandem, which is pretty nasty. They add Brett Pesce and Brendan Dillon on the back end, which is a great solid D pair. They acquired Paul Cotter from Michael McLeod, who went to the Vegas Golden Knights. They signed Kevin LeBanc to a professional tryout who could make the team. Very good for the Sharks. Stefan Mason, a very good depth piece who can play bottom six. They added Thomas Tatar as well, who could play up and down the lineup. And then they added another defenseman, Jonathan Kovacevic from the Canadiens. This team is looking really good. They lose Kevin Ball, they lose Alexander Holt and Akira Schmid. But, man, a fully healthy Devils team with Dougie Hamilton, Luke Hughes, and Timo Nemec playing. Holy shit, bro.
Brendan Dillon, Brett Pesce.
Holy shit. This team right here, with a new coach, with a guy who has a really good regular season winning percentage, and that's Sheldon Keefe.
Yep.
Man, what do we think of the New Jersey Devils? Because I think these guys are going to win the division.
Yeah, I think they're going to. I think they're just going to go off. They're going to win this division easy. I mean, they also have everything. Like they have goal scoring. Teo Meyer's going to have a bounce back year.
Yeah.
Jack Hughes, he's got Hughes has to stay healthy. He cannot keep dealing with these little injuries, little nagging. Oh, I got a shoulder injury. Oh, I need surgery on this shoulder. Oh, I got an injury in my back. No more, bro. He's gotta stay healthy. Jesper Bratt's gonna continue to be good. Nico Hischier is gonna still do his thing. You still have Dawson Mercer to tar. You have Andre Palat on the third line with Holla and Nosen. And then you have Curtis Lazar, Paul Cotter, who's they acquired Paul Cotter. Remember that? Like they wanted Paul Cotter, so O'Connor could do some damage on this Devils team. And then the defense is just, oh my gosh, like Brendan Dillon, defensive defenseman, along with Dougie Hamilton, who could pretty much do it all. You have Luke Hughes, who's a young D-man, who could also play first power.
He's gonna be out for a little bit, Luke Hughes, which sucks. But
Yeah,
I think they
I mean,
can. I think with what they have on the back end, I think they'll be able
yeah,
to,
either way.
especially Simo
They also have
Nemec
a
as well. Simo Nemec is
yeah,
going to be really good too.
and then the goaltending, I mean, Jake Allen, backup. Markstrom, finally get their actual goaltender. I think as long as he stays healthy, guaranteed 30, 35 wins this season. Yeah, the Devils are just disgustingly good. And I think now with Sheldon Keefe, who's a great regular season coach, as what you said, they're going to be unstoppable throughout the regular season. It's not going to be fair. And the Leafs are going to lose to the Devils in the Leafs' second game of the season away at New Jersey. It's going to be like a 5-1 thrashing. Like, yeah, the game's already over before it started. Like, we're just going to get our ass handed to us.
I just love the additions that they made. Like,
Yeah, it's
Fitzgerald,
awesome.
man. Tom Fitzgerald, bro.
Tommy.
Round of a fucking applause to that guy. Unbelievable. After a very, very shit season last year with all the injuries and everything that happened, he comes out and gets their goalie. He gets a really solid defense pair that is probably going to be their second pairing. They go sign depth forwards as well. They got Tatar back. They look fucking disgusting. They look like the best team in the Metropolitan Division. And they are the best team in the Metropolitan Division. Look out, NHL. The New Jersey Devils are coming. They're going to win their division. Guaranteed. Mark it right now. They should be close to the favorites, if not the favorites to win the division. They look so good. Last year was just a fluke. All the injuries and bullshit. Jack being out really helped.
Hamilton being out.
Hamilton being out, exactly. This team, when healthy, one of the best teams in the league, best team in the Metropolitan Division, could be the best team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah. No, it's simple as that. Like, as what you said. Like, the Devils are going to win this division. Like, there's really not much else to say. Like, their team is disgusting, forward wise, defense wise, goaltending wise. Like, Jake Allen is a good backup as well. Like, he's not no scrub. Like, like he can give you games as well. Like, as long as he's a backup, like, dude, he'll be fine. Like, there's no issue with Jake Allen as a backup. So, I think the Devils, dude, like, they're gonna make the playoffs with ease. Simple as that. And who knows when they come playoff time.
We'll see. And I think that is a great way to wrap up episode 97 of the AJ Sports Podcast. Unbelievable. Great preview. Round of applause to us for being pretty good after being on for a month with this.
That's right.
Man, what a preview. I cannot wait to see the New Jersey Devils play hockey again. They will be playing October 4th in Buffalo next Friday. So we're going to try and get this out before then. What else? We're going to see the Central Division, I think, next we're going to want to do. Central or Pacific. I want to finish with the Atlantic. That's got to be last. So we're going to try and record that one this week and then get it out to you soon as well because the season starts in 2.5 weeks. So we're going to try and get that out to you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment on who you think is going to make playoffs in this division. Look out, New Jersey Devils fans. Your team is going to be absolutely fucking disgusting. As for the rest of the division, just keep your eye out for Jack Hughes. Could win the Hart. Maybe if he's healthy. Could
Possibly.
I don't know.
No.
Could be sniffing around the Hart. Who knows? Gotta stay healthy. That guy can literally get 110 points, 115 points if he's healthy. So, we're going to leave it at that. We're going to do the Central Division next. That should be out pretty soon. We're going to get that recorded. And we will see you guys next time to preview the Central Division.